Welcome to the Linux Mint episode. So we're going to install Linux Mint. We're going to download it and run it on our virtual machine, which is VMware, hypervisor, sorry. And this is an optional session. This is going to be really good for you to practice your Linux skills. We will be doing some of our pen testing activities on Linux Mint a little bit later on, but it's not essential. You can skip this and go straight to the video titled First Pen Test Demonstration, if you like, or you can continue on. It's actually a good lesson to get your Linux skills. Yeah. We'll be using our Linux Mint machine later on when we're doing our Linux Mint course. So our Linux course. So you go to linuxmint.com, click on download, and select the flavor you want. Now, you can use cinnamon or XFC. It's up to you. You get to choose that, but I'm going to do cinnamon. Why? Because I like cinnamon donuts, and it reminds me of happy feeling. So, up to you. It's a personal preference. So then you scroll down, and you've got download mirrors. You have to select the closest one to where you're living. And I think we can scroll down all the way down to Australia. Should get that one. I think the Singapore one is pretty good too. So we'll save that to my local directory. I have a virtual machine folder in the downloads. And that should take a certain amount of time. We have to, the difference between this one and our previous Linux installation like Kali and Metasploitable, we actually have to build this, we have to install this ourselves. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. So on my computer, I've got a pretty decent connection, so I'll be able to get this quick. This is going to be a different type of installation. Instead of just getting a pre-built virtual machine, we're actually going to build it ourselves. So that's it. That's downloaded. We'll go to VirtualBox. Sorry, VMware, not VirtualBox. VMware, and you can see that Kali Metasploitable is still running. We'll go to File, New Virtual Machine this time. Interesting. Now, slightly different between Windows 10 and 11, but really minor, not even really worth mentioning. But we've got the welcome to the new virtual machine wizard. We'll go to typical for now. Until we get really good at this, we'll stick to that too. So now we've got installer disk image. So this is the ISO. This is the file that we downloaded. It's kind of simulating the old days where we used to have DVDs or CDs, and we used to put them in the CD machine or DVD drive, double click and then or reboot the computer and then boot off the DVD drive and then run the installation. It's kind of simulating the old days, but we're going to do it in a virtual environment. So install a disk image file. We'll go to browse, and I'm going to find out where I put that ISO, and there it is. Click on OK. Next. So now it will load that, it will run off that. But guest operating system, that's going to be Linux. I know that I'm running Windows 11, but that's not the guest. Windows 11 is the host that I'm running on. The guest is a Linux-based system. I've got to change that to Linux. Ubuntu is fine because Mint is the same underlying technology as Ubuntu anyway. I didn't choose Ubuntu for this demonstration because it's heavy on resources. Linux is a bit lighter. So I'm just going to leave that as Ubuntu. That should be fine. Click on next. The virtual machine name, I'm just going to call it Linux Mint. Go to next. And then everything is, so if I go back, go next again. Customize hardware. Now, if you've got a bit of extra RAM, push that up a bit, but I think 4 gigs is fine. If you don't have a lot of RAM, if you only have 8 gigs, then bring that down. Okay, so keep that at 4 gigs. If you can, and now finish. So now that's creating the environment for our Linux Mint installation. Now, I'll power this on, and now hopefully it'll load to that ISO, which is pretending to be a DVD drive or a CD drive, and hopefully it'll boot to that, and it did. So now I've got some, I'm going to click my mouse in there and press the up and down arrow button. We can start Linux Mint now. Now, what will happen is Linux Mint will load an environment that looks like an operating system, and so that we can just play around with it. But it's not installing it at that point in time. It's giving us a way to see if we like it or not. Now that I mean, obviously we do like it because we're going to use it, I'll show you how to set that installation up. But at the moment, it's just loading an operating system for you. Now, this is just on a side note. It's kind of handy to have something like this, just in case your computer crashes or is destroyed by malware. You can load a temporary Linux Mint and have access to networking. At least you get something. At least you can have some productivity. We're just waiting for that to load. Hopefully, it shouldn't be too long. Okay, so after that brief pause, we've got that what looks like an operating system. However, it's not installed yet. We will go to install Linux Mint. Double click that. See that CD icon? The old days we used to use CDs and DVDs to install things. We're just going to double click for now. And that'll hopefully load the installation files, although that little rainbow colored wagon wheel, the wheel of death, looks like it's stuck. But we'll wait a little bit. We'll hopefully that'll it's just thinking really hard and it'll come back. And it did, yeah. I was just being a little impatient. So now the installation wizard has appeared. We've got English, which is the language I speak, or I try to speak. English US, up to you. You can use UK if you feel more comfortable. I think there's even Australia. There's English Australia. I would go with that if you're Australian. Go to continue. But the reason why we would not choose UK because they use the pound symbol on their keyboard. So Shift 4 becomes the pound symbol. We want the dollar sign, so keep it as Australian. Don't worry about any of the codecs. We're not going to do any. We're not going to watch videos. We're not going to play. We're just going to use this Linux environment to practice our Linux skills, so that we can do pen testing and hacking later on other Linux machines. Continue. This is a pretty straightforward setup. We're just going to continue as far as pretty much as far as we can go. But there is a couple of things here that I want to go through to make sure that you install this correctly. It's not taking too long. The more RAM, the more resources you give this virtual machine, the faster this process becomes. Okay, great. It says erase disk. There's no real disk. It's kind of like a file that's built for the virtual machine. We're good to go. We can install this. Later on, when you're building this on servers or computers, there's some other options. But right, just continue for now. When we go through an advanced Linux course, then I will go in depth more on this. I'll actually build a proper computer, physical computer, and we can go through this procedure together. There's more into this than just what we're doing now. Time zone, yeah, Melbourne. If you're in Sydney or Brisbane or wherever you are. And if you're in Perth, select your time zone. Name, okay, I'm just going to call myself Harry. Computer's name, I'll call it Harry Linux Mint, maybe. It's not really important. Well, it's important in a production environment, like a business, but VM But for our lab, not really. Choose a password. I'm just going to do password, one. Not a good password. But lab environment, we can do what we like. Don't select login automatically. Get used to putting passwords in. Require my password to log in. Encrypt my home folder. Lab don't do this because it puts more resources. In a business environment, absolutely, you're going to encrypt your home folder for sure. Encrypt everything when you can, where you can. So continue. See what happens next. So that's copying files. While that's doing that, we'll right-click Linux Mint. We'll go to Settings. We'll have a look at the networking part. It's on NAT. We're gonna put that on bridged, okay, so that we can communicate with the other virtual machines. That's what the other ones are on at the moment. The reason why my NAT is not working at the moment is because I've got a very, very strong, powerful firewall that I've custom built, and it's not happy at all with my virtual machines using NAT. So I'm forced to use bridged at the moment, but I'll fix that. Oh, well, it's attempting to add my brother printer, which is upstairs. So it's as soon as I connected the network to the bridged, it will try and find resources on the network like printers and file storage. So that's a good lesson to look at actually. All right, I'll put pause on the video for now because this might take about 5 minutes. Depends. So once it's connected to my Epson printer too. Now you all know that I've got 2 printers. But anyway, I'll pause this and we'll pick up once the next stage comes into effect. Okay, after about 5 or 6 minutes, we've got installation complete. So now I can restart now, and that should load the Linux Mint operating system. And once we log in, that'll be the end of this this session. It's pretty quick. When we go and set up our Windows 10 machine, big difference. It's much longer. Linux Mint is much quicker. But I'm just going to press Alt Control. It's saying that we should remove installation media. The way to do that is go to right-click Linux Mint, removable devices. Actually, no, we'll go to Settings. So right-click Linux Mint and then Settings. We'll go to CD/DVD. And yeah, it looks like it's not connected anyway. So that's fine. It should be okay. It should be fine. We'll see. Press enter now. See how we go. Hopefully that will be a quick reboot and we'll get to run into Linux. We'll make sure that we're getting an IP address and that we can ping the world. And that'll be it. We're not going to go into too much of this Linux configuration or anything like that. That'll be, of course, down the track. So there's Linux Mint. Very lightweight, still powerful. It's a Linux machine. We can use it for whatever we use Linux for. There we go. Pretty quick. Put password 1. Yep. That will load the Linux operating system. And then all I want to do is just make sure that we can get connection to the internet. That'll be it for us today for this particular virtual machine. And we're gonna have lots of fun setting up Windows 10 and 19 in the next couple of episodes. This one you can if you want to look around to exit that. What I do want to do is go down to terminal, and I want to see if I can get an IP address. IPA. I've got one. I'm going to ping the Google server, for example, and I can. So this Linux machine, I'm going to press Control-C. This Linux Mint machine is now fully operational, and we can ping the other devices too if we wanted to. But that's it for today. That's it for this episode. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you for watching.